The weekend rain returns tonight. WRAL issued a weather alert day because parts of the viewing area are under a level 1 severe weather threat. Good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Julian Grace. Let's get to meteorologist Anthony Baglione. He is here now to talk about what we can expect tonight. Anthony.
Yeah, Julian, here is that latest risk from the Storm Prediction Center. This is mainly focused here in our northern areas. It does include the triangle, though. It's that level 1 risk from about Raleigh up to the north. At the moment here, in fact, during most of today, we've seen a nice dry forecast, aside from a few spotty sprinkles this afternoon. But notice here up toward Danville, we head toward South Hill, Virginia as well. There is some of that lightning showing up on some of these stronger cells as a cold front sags a little bit further to the south. Other than that, though, that really is the focus. Maybe just a few light sprinkles there south and west of Raleigh right now. Everyone in our viewing area is fairly quiet. We head up to the north, Danville, South Hill, Virginia. This is kind of pushing at least closer in your direction, and it will continue to head down to the south here over the next couple of hours. Any of those evening plans here, I think, should be in fairly good shape, but we can track Futurecast here. That line pushes further south here, but we head to about 9 to 10 o'clock or so. I think after 9 o'clock, let's say 9 to midnight is going to be the best time frame for some of these pushing through. Maybe some gusty winds, some very small hail. This does not look like a widespread severe event, which is good. And then, Julian, as we head into Mother's Day tomorrow, looking fairly dry here to end the weekend. We'll talk about, though, a chance of some showers here heading into tomorrow afternoon and Monday coming up here in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Anthony. Well, as always, you can keep tabs on the weather in your area using the WRAL weather app. You can look at the dual Doppler 5000 radar and look at the current temperatures where you are at any given moment. It's free to download on Google Play and the Apple App Store. All right, let's go to this. Governor Roy Cooper formally vetoes new abortion restrictions. This right here is Sky 5 video showing the rallies held in downtown Raleigh today, both supporting and disagreeing with the decision. This is just one of those rallies happening in Wake County today. WRAL's Shelley Jackson joins us live from Cary, where an event discussing the new legislation just got underway in the last 30 minutes or so. Shelley.
Well, Jillian, the fight continues out here tonight in Cary, where organizers are helping to mobilize these folks to reach out to two moderate Republicans who could help the governor maintain his veto.
Hundreds of protesters chanting as North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper vetoes SB 20, the 12-week ban on abortions passed earlier this month by Republican lawmakers.
Standing in the way of progress right now is this Republican supermajority legislature that only took 48 hours to turn the clock back 50 years on women's health.
The bill cuts the time limit on abortions in North Carolina from 20 to 12 weeks, imposes new licensing requirements on abortion clinics, and requires 2 in-person doctor visits. Exemptions are permitted up to 20 weeks for rape or incest. The bill also designates funding for birth control and child care.
Governor Cooper is fired up, and I think the women and the men of North Carolina, look at the men here representing today. It's awesome. We got to get through this.
I have children, my lovely daughter, and I want them to make their choices. I want them to be able to make their choices.
No choice is a lie, baby, never just do that.
Across the street, a smaller yet vocal group of pro-life advocates protesting the governor's veto.
We will not sit back as pro-lifers, as people who support life, while Governor Cooper vetoes a bill that protects life.
There are people in this state that care about unborn children and their lives and their rights to live.
But on this Saturday before Mother's Day, most people out here support Cooper's veto and choice.
And if you are here to see a veto, let me hear it.
We need North Carolina to stand up for women's rights, reproductive freedom for everybody.
So the governor just needs one Republican to maintain his veto. And of course, all eyes are on Tricia Cotham, as she just switched parties last year, and she had previously spoken out in favor of abortion rights. Julian?
The discussion continues. Shelley Jackson reporting for us live tonight in Cary. Thank you. North Carolina House Speaker Tim Moore responded to the governor's abortion bill veto. Moore released a statement saying, quote, Governor Cooper has spent the past week, including Mother's Day weekend, spreading misinformation about SB 20 in an effort to frighten voters and appease campaign donors. He goes on to say the truth is that the Care for Women, Children, and the Families Act will save unborn lives, protect women, and support families. His veto will be swiftly overridden. WRAL's NC Capitol team will keep following this story on air and online. Check for updates on our website, our mobile app, as well as Facebook and Twitter. Protesters today marched through the streets of downtown Raleigh shouting "Free Palestine." Here's what this is all about. The group gathered at the Moore Square to protest the conflict between Israel and Palestine and to demand freedom. The rally also commemorated a day which is a day of remembrance for the displacement of Palestinians. Just moments ago, we learned of a ceasefire between the two countries after days of violence. Drag Story Hour Triangle area hosted a Read for Our Rights rally in Raleigh this afternoon. Supporters gathered in Bicentennial Plaza at 1 p.m. to protest anti-LGBTQ bills currently being pushed through the legislature. Local drag artists read stories to children and set up booths in the area. The group painted kindness rocks to leave around the Capitol, urging legislators to protect trans children and individual freedoms. The Great Lakes fire burning in the Croatan National Forest is now 90% contained. That is an upgrade there. Officials say about 185 people are working to fight. They keep fighting on the fire, we're told, including using a helicopter. Today, crews are continuing to look for hot spots and putting out fires in the northwest zone. The fire is in the eastern North Carolina part and has been burning for more than 2 weeks. So far, 32,400 acres are scorched. Investigators believe it is man-made. Well, President Joe Biden participated in a graduation today, a big graduation ceremony. He gave the commencement address for Howard University in Washington, D.C. Biden received the honorary Doctorate of Letters degree, that is. Howard is one of the largest historically black universities in the U.S. Now, Vice President Kamala Harris is also a Howard graduate and has a traditional degree from the school.
We can finally resolve those ongoing questions about who we are as a nation. That puts strength of our diversity at the center of American life. The future that celebrates and learns from history. A future for all Americans. A future I see you leading.
Okay, in case you're wondering, the last time a sitting president spoke at Howard's graduation was 2016 when President Barack Obama gave the address. And we want to give a special congratulations for former Raleigh police officer and now law school graduate Charles Ainsworth, shown right there. He graduated from Campbell Law School yesterday. Raleigh police posted these photos on social media congratulating the former officer. You may recall Ainsworth was shot in the line of duty back in January of 2019 and nearly died. He retired from the force in 2020 to pursue his law degree. Congratulations to him. Meredith College class of 2023 graduated this morning. Students graduated in the courtyard at 8:30 and 11 a.m. Senior class president Safa Ahmed was the featured speaker. In her address, she urged her classmates to take pride in overcoming the challenges they faced during the COVID-19 pandemic. Masters of Business Administration were hooded in the afternoon. Graduates from Shaw University walked across the stage this morning. The commencement ceremony was in the Raleigh Convention Center. Natalie Cofield, an entrepreneur and philanthropist, spoke at the ceremony. Now, Cofield served as the presidential appointee with the Biden-Harris administration. Let's keep it going. The University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill held its doctoral hooding ceremony this morning. Each doctoral graduate student was called to the stage and then given their hood by their advisor or department faculty member. The university-wide commencement ceremony is tomorrow. All right, still to come, we have so much. Plus this, bear sightings along the Appalachian Trail are changing camping rules. What you should know before taking a trip to that area. Plus, firefighters and police officers enter a friendly building competition for the good. What they're building and how it's helping local kids in need. And tonight on WRAL.
Passionate and personal. We take you inside the state Senate for the debate you didn't see on the abortion bill. On the record, why state lawmakers on both sides of the aisle argued so much is at stake. On the record tonight at 7.
All right, welcome back. Seeing a couple of clouds right there. Will those clouds stick around? We'll ask Anthony in just a little bit. Well, welcome back once again. Investigators in Halifax County are investigating a deadly shooting. Deputies say 19-year-old Quincy Mills was found dead in his car on Evans Farm Road in Hollister last night. No arrests have been made. However, deputies say they believe this is an isolated incident. Well, this is a crash on South Blunt Street in Raleigh. It shut down the road for a while today. Police say a vehicle crashed into a power pole. Duke Energy workers were called to the area to fix the power pole. Police say the driver is being charged with driving while being impaired. One passenger was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. A section of the Appalachian Trail is temporarily closed overnight to camping due to recent aggressive bear behavior. This is what else we found out. And look at this video you're seeing here. The U.S. Forest Service closed the section Thursday, saying it's because a mother bear and her cubs were stealing people's backpacks for food. It applies to the area between 10-Yard Gap and Deep Gap. Forest officials say backpackers are still permitted to hike through the site there, but campsites and shelters are temporarily off limits until further notice. So just stay away if you can this time. Well, they're off. Today, people walked and raced at William Peace University. The 5K started this morning on the university's campus. The race supports communities impacted by HIV and AIDS. It was hosted by the Alliance of AIDS Services, Carolina. This morning, residents in Cumberland County filled a truck with donated supplies and food for students in need over the summer. All these people were at work doing this. Officials set up a big box truck for donations outside of the county courthouse. People came out with bags full of kid-friendly, non-perishable foods and personal hygiene items. The donations will go out to local schools in the districts just before the last day of school. The Fuquay-Varina Police Department and the Fire Department competed in a friendly bed building competition this morning to help children in the area who do not have beds. Sleep in Heavenly Peace hosted the event called Holsters and Hoses. I like that. The idea is to raise awareness of bedlessness in the area while working to make sure no kids sleep on the floor. Since September, listen to the statistic, since September of 2020, the organization delivered more than 500 beds to kids in our area. Way to go. Keep it going. A summer fun favorite began today in Sanford. The Kiwanis Family Park Splash Pad opened this morning, and these are pictures by the Sanford city officials showing the festivities. A DJ was there spinning music. Kids also got the chance to get their face painted and win prizes. I wonder what she got there. Now, you can take your kids to the splash pad on Wickard Street Monday through Friday from 1 to 7 p.m. and on Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. through the first weekend of June. And after that, the pad will be open daily from 10 to 7. All right, Anthony, let's go to South Hill. What are we looking at there?
Well, we're watching some storms here, Julian, especially up to the north. And that's kind of why we're seeing this really ominous picture right now.
I see that.
It just looks kind of spooky out there, doesn't it? But this picture right here, I think it's going to start to head here to a large chunk of our viewing area over the next couple of hours. As far as the increased cloud cover and maybe a few storms here pushing through, this is not going to be a tornado threat at this point, which is good. It's mainly looking like some gusty winds, maybe some small hail, but I really think the wind potential is going to be our biggest component. Certainly unsettled here as we head up towards South Hill, Virginia, and just in this area, even up to the north, is where we do have some storm activity right now. It's associated with a cold front that's pushing through the central parts of Virginia. And you notice there that lightning over toward Virginia Beach. That general direction takes that batch of cells here more toward eastern North Carolina here over the next little while. But let's zoom in here, kind of get you a better picture of what's going on up in our direction. South Hill, Virginia, in that part of our viewing area, there are a few light showers pushing to the east in that neck of the woods here over the next probably 15-20 minutes or so. Roxborough, if you look up to your north, likely seeing some lightning, and that will continue to head to the south here, probably in your area over the next 15 to 20 minutes as well. And then all of this could push here closer to the triangle as we head into let's say 8 to about midnight or so. I think it's going to be the best time frame. There are a few light showers, though, right now around Raleigh. We head up toward Lewisburg as well, Zebulon, Wendell. Very light sprinkles here, nothing I would would cancel plans for, but if you are headed out later this evening, maybe take that umbrella with you. Just stay weather aware tonight. We do have that level 1 risk from the triangle to the north for some of those gusty winds. We'll see what the Storm Prediction Center does here when we get another update here in about an hour or so. But for now, we are under that level 1 risk, just to kind of cover the bases here as these cells continue to push south. There is Futurecast here. We see it's doing a pretty good job of showing those cells up to the north. We watch most of this start to sag here closer to the triangle by about 9 o'clock this evening. That continues on. Scattered showers by midnight. We should lose any of that instability. So I think by the time we head to midnight and afterward, that severe potential should start to decrease. Tomorrow morning here, if you're up and at 'em early for Mother's Day, first of all, happy early Mother's Day to all of you. I do think we will keep a decent amount of cloud cover in place. There is 8 a.m. Most of us should be very dry here during the day tomorrow. There is a slight chance of a passing shower, mainly during the afternoon, and I'll show you that here in just a second. I think we'll be partly to mostly cloudy, not a ton of sunshine tomorrow, but there could be some breaks in the afternoon, and that may allow some of these showers to bubble up. There's 5 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. We head into the evening, most of those start to fizzle out. So if you have any dinner plans tomorrow, I think is going to be the better chance of just a pop-up shower passing through. Shouldn't be too widespread. Just give it 10 or 15 minutes, and it'll be gone here tomorrow afternoon. Here's what we're looking at, though, over the next 7 days. 80 degrees for us tomorrow. It still will be warm. Could be a little bit humid for Mother's Day. Cooler on Monday at 70, but rain chances have come down. I do think we'll see scattered showers during the day on Monday. Tuesday looks a little bit wet, and then, Julian, we head into next week. Still in the low 80s and pretty dry here Tuesday through Friday or so.
All right, thank you, Anthony. Pat Welter is here with us right now. And, Pat, is this correct? There is no hockey this weekend?
Well, at least for the Canes, so a little bit of chance to get some errands done before we all gear up for the Eastern Conference Final next week. The Canes took one day off, and now they're back on the ice after resting up a bit themselves. Why a trip to Fort Lauderdale will be a family reunion for one Cane next. This is set. Canes Panthers to begin this week. Carolina hitting the ice this morning after a day off Friday. Going to be a few days before game one. But luckily, we got plenty of storylines to talk about in its place. No surprise, Jordan Stahl's locker was pretty crowded with media members today. This series pits him against two of his brothers, Eric and Mark. He said his parents are probably going to hide from reporters in the basement until the series is done. Couldn't really tell if he was joking. This isn't the first time Stahl has faced his brothers in the postseason. On the Penguins in 2008, he beat Mark on the Rangers in the conference semifinals. Then in 2009, he beat Eric and the Hurricanes en route to winning the Stanley Cup. And here's Eric scoring a goal with the Canes right here. And in 2020 with the Canes, he played Mark on the Rangers, sweeping them in the qualifying round.
I haven't played against a playoff series against a bro in a while, but I know once you get in the mix of playing 3-4 games in a row, it starts to kind of all get mushed together. And whether you run into your brother or not, you might get that feeling a little bit more during the regular season. But I think once we get into the series, it's kind of just a free for all of just playing the game and getting into it, and we'll kiss and make up after.
Jordan's third brother, Jared, is on the coaching staff with the Charlotte Checkers, Florida's AHL affiliate. We've been talking a lot about Caniacs, but the Courage have a passionate fan base too. The team coming off the 5th largest crowd in regular season history. Head coach Sean Nahas appreciates the sport. So do the players. They just hope it can become consistent.
I think anytime you have fans in the crowd, regardless of the situation, it always, that's because that's what these players play for. If you look at you go back to the COVID days when empty stadiums, it was just blah. There was nothing to the games. It was almost like a friendly. But when sometimes when you get a little bit of momentum, the crowd can push you a little bit, and the key thing is how do we continue those fans in the seats.
Courage hosts the first place OL Reign Sunday at 3 p.m. Wake Med Soccer Park. Courage coming off 2 straight draws. They're currently 9th in the NWSL. NC State baseball at UNC. Scott Forbes fresh off a contract extension with the Heels. His team making sure there's no buyer's remorse here. First inning, Mac Horvath, so hot right now, leads the ACC in home runs. RBI double right there. Fast forward to the 4th. Bases loaded for Jackson Vanderbrink. Not to be confused with James Vanderbeek. Sends this one out to Dawson's Creek. 10-0 Heels at that point. Heels win 12-2. ACC softball championship. Duke and Florida State. Cassidy Kerr threw a no-hitter for the Blue Devils Friday. Seminoles get to her in the third. It's Johnny Kerr with the double to left. Scores a run, 1-0 Florida State. Duke would tie it on a passed ball. Bottom seventh now, 2 outs for Bethany Keene. And the bloop single drops just into left field. Devin Flaherty scores the winning run, and Florida State wins the ACC championship 2-1. And a quick thank you to the women in my life, my daughter Emma, wife Amanda, mom Patty, all lucky to have them here this weekend for Mother's Day. We celebrated my daughter's dance recital this morning. Pretty wild to see her grow up so fast. So thank you to the women in my life, all the moms out there. Guys like me would be lost without you. And Julian, I imagine you feel the same way.
Oh, yeah. So excited that it's Mother's Day weekend. It gives us a great opportunity to celebrate the mothers that are here with us and also those mothers that are no longer with us as well.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you, Pat. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. Next on NBC Nightly News, the touching tribute at the University of Idaho's graduation. How the 4 students who were brutally murdered last year were remembered. That's next.